All right, let me get a little closer, because if I say this a little too loud, some people are going to get upset, and I don't want that to happen. But I'm talking to you, okay, you. You probably do not need a manager yet. And I'm going to tell you why. So yeah, I'm here right now, and I'm going to keep it real like I always do, okay? And I know some of you guys are not going to like this, but I'm just going to speak some life into your music career. About 99% of the musicians out here do not need a manager. Whether you're a rapper, singer, writer, producer, whatever. About 99% of you guys do not need a manager. The other 1%, yeah. But the other 99, no. Because a lot of you guys got things confused on what a manager actually does. And that's why I say a lot of you guys do not need a manager yet, because you haven't gotten to that point to where they don't even have anything to manage. Like, I'm going to give you a quick story real quick, and then I'm going to, go a little bit deeper. I remember when I was in school in 2004, I used to go back and forth to Atlanta because I was going to school in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I was going to Stillman College, and we had a huge hip hop / rap scene there, and it was a college town. So we would sell CDs. We would, go out, do like local shows and stuff like that. And it was actually very good. Like, most of my homeboys who I was producing with or making music, we all had a major situation at some point. Like, we was either signed to a major situation or we produced like a really big record or something like that. So yeah, shout out to Tuscaloosa for, really putting me on so far as like, being a producer and learning how to kind of like get started in music. But I remember I used to go back and forth to Atlanta a lot. And I remember meeting up with this guy. He was a producer, and he had a few guys on the label, and he was known around the city to be a manager. I cannot remember this guy's name, but he was really cool. And I remember one day I reached out to him because I had sent him some beats for his artist, and he liked like 2 of the beats, and he wanted to basically just pay me up front for some of the beats or whatever. It was like $600 or something like that. And the guy, was really cool. He would try to help me out. And then one day I was like, hey, man, I think you should manage me. And he was like, why? I was like, I need a manager. I said, managers, y'all, help artists and producers and stuff like that out. You can get me some opportunities and it can help me blow up. And then that way, if I blow up, what I'm saying, we can blow up together. And that means you'll make more money. I'm willing to give you 20%. And this man calmly got on the phone, like, well, while we was on the phone, he was calmly on the phone. He just let out like a sigh, like, that's not what managers do. He says, I think you got it confused. And it kind of hit my heart a little bit because it kind of hurt me what he said, but it was very true. He was like, that's not what we do. Like, with managers, that's not what we do. He says, we just manage a situation. So if you have phone calls coming in, if you have people trying to actively get a hold of you, we're just a buffer. And good managers know how to handle that buffer. And then some of them know how to make certain plays and do certain things. They have, they have people that they can call on and do certain things. But if you're an artist or producer or writer or whatever, and you don't have any type of motion going on out here, you don't have anything going on, there's very little that a manager can do for you. And it doesn't matter how big or how small that manager is, there's really nothing they can do. They can mention you around people and say, hey, I got this guy, man, you might want to check him out and do this and do that. But if you really have nothing going on, there's really nothing a manager can do. He basically told me that you're looking for the wrong person. He says you're looking for a PR person. You're looking for somebody that is in promotions, not a manager. You're looking for somebody to boost your brand, not a manager. And at first, I'm like, a PR person? I really didn't even know what a PR person was, really. I was like, what is that? And he broke it down, what personal relations was and stuff like that. And it got me to thinking, I was like, man, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. That's true. I was looking for a PR person. And maybe a PR person could have took what I had and they could have did their PR and promotional thing to get me in more people's faces and get my stuff out there so people would know who I am. But I thought managers did everything. I thought they were basically like a record company. I'm thinking, oh, if I just get with this big manager, they're just going to take my career and just blow it up out of anywhere. And stuff like that does not happen. I used to be just like a lot of y'all who used to think, oh, if I get a manager, it's like that. And then as I got older and as I got deeper into the music game, I kind of understood like, okay, this is how this thing really is supposed to work. And I know some of you guys are like, Bolo, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all are new to my, page, and this is my second page. I actually have a main page with a lot more followers and stuff on here. But what I like to do is I like to do a lot of hot takes on here and try to give you guys the information that I learned in the music industry because I'm actually a real like multi-platinum producer. Like I don't have a ton of songs out there, but I've sold over 13 million singles and more, but I didn't get credit for it. But I've actually sold 13 million singles. You can look it up. It's all true. But I try to give you guys this insight because this is nothing different than the stuff that I went through. And I really want to spread this message out to you guys. Okay. One thing that I've seen even now and since we first got started is people always relying on other people to get their business done. And yes, you can have a manager starting out. I would most likely recommend being like a homeboy or a family member or somebody who can just really kind of navigate you, somebody who knows you. However, if you do get a little bit bigger, I wouldn't say get rid of that person, but I would say bring on somebody who can handle that situation a little bit better once you get to that point to where you need a manager. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, what is that point to where I need a manager? Well, that point is when you start getting an abundance of phone calls of people trying to either book you, trying to get sessions, or trying to negotiate certain situations. Okay? Then you will need somebody to be a buffer for you because what any artist, producer, writer, or whatever you need, you just need to focus on completing the task of doing the music stuff. You need to do your shows. You need to write your songs. You need to produce the songs. You need to create music. You don't need to be out here trying to book everything, do everything on your own. It's actually very good to have somebody as a buffer. And then you guys can sit down and go over everything that's been going on. And then you can decide and say, hey, I need this done. I need that done. Go and tell them this. Go and tell them that. And then, oh, yeah, have them come over to the studio so we can talk and do this and you can set up certain things for me. That's what a manager does. If you're trying to get yourself out there, if you're trying to get in people's eyes, if you're trying to be seen, then a PR is somebody who you're looking for. Okay, that's what their role is. So if you're trying to start from the bottom and trying to get yourself there, then you can use some type of PR service to do that. Now, it's a little bit easier right now because we have Instagram, Facebook, and they have basically like their own built-in PR service where you can pay to get yourself in front of people. Like you don't really even need a middleman right now, but there still are PR people who can go and get you into certain publications, who can get you on certain websites, who can get you on certain shows and stuff like that because they're PR people. What a manager would do is they will make sure that if you get on the shows and all this stuff like that, get in the studios, whatever, they make sure that you have like a schedule or whatever, and they make sure that everything is flowing right. And they will have conversations with the PR, and then you will have conversations with the manager. It's like a chain. The manager is the buffer between everybody else and you, okay? The PR is very close as well. I will say that the PR is very close and the lawyer is very close. And that's something that we'll talk about. And I have kind of mentioned that on this channel before, but a lawyer is somebody who you would need very close to you as well. But lawyer, manager, PR, but manager is pretty much like a day-to-day operations person. That's the person that you would talk to most likely the most, if you need one. But if you only have a few hundred followers, you don't have anything going on iTunes, Spotify, nothing like that, you're not getting booked for shows or whatever, you don't need to be out here trying to hit up every single manager saying, hey, come get me, save my music career because I'm the best. That's not going to happen. Trust me, if you are out there and whatever you do becomes big, if you're a talented writer that writes on some songs, you become big, or if you're a producer that makes some beats and they become big, or you're an artist and you become big, I can almost guarantee you every single top manager that's in the country will find a way to get a hold of you. And sometimes they do it either directly, or they'll try to go through a friend, or they'll say, hey, such and such, hey, give them a little word, have them talk to my guy, this, that, whatever. It'll be something like that. There's always a way where people will find you once you get to that point. But one thing people are not going to do is pick on another individual, which means another personality or whatever, to manage that does not have anything going on. But I'm going to say yet. Because one thing I do say all the time is just because things are not going the way you want them to go right now does not mean that it's not going to happen. So I will say this. A lot of you guys need to go ahead and look up some of the top managers. Look up who they represent. See who their roster is. See what they've done. See what they can do for you if they fit what you're doing right now. Because every manager is not the best manager for you. Some are real cool and laid back. Some are real aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Some are tied in. Some are kind of like, nah, I'm not really, dealing with all that. I just, take phone calls. I just kind of just manage the situation. Some try to act as PR. Some try to really go out and try to do as much as they can, which I don't recommend that. But you need to find people who are going to work for you if and when that time actually comes. But for a lot of you guys right now who are just now starting out, who feel like a manager is going to just take your music career and just blow it up to where you're just going to be the biggest artist in the world, that ain't going to happen, because if it's like that, then there would be a ton of artists that are just uberly huge. Like that means that pretty much you can, as an artist, everybody right now can call a high-powered manager and they can just put you on right now, which we know that's not going to happen, because at the end of the day, the people decide who is going to be big. Even if the record labels throw money at it, even if they try to put it in your face, if they got good PR and they try to put it in your face, the people decide who they are going to put on the pedestal, okay? The people and the good Lord. That's what I say at all times. So this is what I say to all of you. Keep working. If you're not getting phone calls, don't be bothering people over here and calling managers and saying, put me on and do this stuff like that. Don't do that. Just keep working. Get something that has some type of movement with it. And I'm not saying you got to have 10,000 people following you and you got to have this and that. I'm just saying a movement like sales-wise, where people can actually see that you're selling. Or you're actively in studios working with people. You found a way to get in the studios and you found a way to actively work with top artists and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. You have some type of movement, and then now you're starting to get phone calls, and then now those phone calls are actually hurting you, because now you can't really just strictly just do your work. Now you have to answer phone calls and make deals or have certain meetings or certain situations where it's hindering you from doing your music. That's what I'm saying. It's time for you to go out and try to seek management, and then sit down, have a conversation, and try to make sure that they can give you the service for the payment that you're going to be paying them. Because some managers charge 10%, some charge 20%, some may charge 30%. Who knows? But if they're giving you their time, their effort, and their energy to make sure that they can manage your situation correctly to where you can succeed, then that's the time to have that conversation about getting a manager. But for right now, 99% of y'all don't need no manager. You don't need it. You don't need it. I know you want one, but you don't need it. And what I mean by a manager is like a high-powered manager or somebody like that. What I'm saying is, if you got like a relative or somebody, cool. Somebody who can just act on the behalf of you. But most of y'all don't need it right now. I say just keep working, keep creating, keep trying to get better. And then once things get to that point, then go ahead and reach out and get a manager.